Hi, 8th grade friends. It is Miss Townhouse. I am coming to you live from Screencast-O-Matic. This is the tool I'm going to be using to walk us through how to navigate the Chicago Public Library's catalog, as well as how to get a library card for the first time or register an already existing card. I'm also going to be showing us how to access databases, how to put a hold on an item, how to save a book for later on what's called a later shelf, as well as what the difference is between an academic database and Google. So let's go ahead and get started. We have a lot to cover. Hopefully it won't be too overwhelming, and hopefully the Chicago Public Library website will feel intuitive to you. And so, sometimes it just takes looking at it for a few minutes before class and just familiarizing yourself with some of the tools that they offer, I think, is also really helpful. So to get started, I went to the Chicago Public Library homepage, which is shypublib.org. And so feel free, write that down somewhere. Again, it will be like muscle memory. Every time you go to it, it'll just sort of, I think, stick in your brains, and that's good. That's a good thing. Okay, so let's go ahead and check out how to get started using the databases and everything that it has to offer. If I don't register my card, unfortunately, I don't have access to everything that it can show me. And so I want to go ahead and start there first. So on the right-hand side, where it says login or my CPL, I'm going to go ahead and hit login or register. So I actually already am logged in. When am I not logged in to any library, it seems? Okay, so I just logged out. It has saved my username and PIN number, and that's something that you can create once you register your card for the first time. Some of us have already done this, so if you have, don't worry about it. Library cards do expire in 3 years, and I also want to make note and let you know that our library system is now fine-free as of last year, and so that's really, really exciting. So what does that mean? If I don't return a book, do I just get off scot-free? No. The library will alert you. It will charge you for the cost of the book until you return it. But you don't have to pay any fines as you go, and it's not charging you per day. It used to charge patrons 10 cents a day, so it's not doing that anymore. This is a really exciting thing for our city. Other library systems have also adapted it, so that's a really good thing too. Okay, so let's get a card. Again, this is if you haven't done so already. You can also go to your branch in person. So getting a library card, right? You can visit any location. I'm going to distribute some applications. Mr. Shapiro, I'm going to give them to Mr. Shapiro so he can give them to you if you need them. But getting a library card online, it says here you can also apply for an e-card. Sometimes, yes, you can swap your e-card, so you can convert it to a regular card if you then go ahead and visit any branch in person. So let's say I want to apply for an e-card. So I would go ahead and say, right, do you have a Chicago Public Library card? Let's say no. And I'm going to enter my zip code just as an example. And then it would walk me through the steps for applying for an e-card. So here's where I will put in my PIN number. And that's the number that it will save, so I definitely want that number every time I log in. Okay, so that's just one way to do it, or again, you can fill out the paper application and just take it to any one of your branches. How to find your branch? You can enter your zip code, I believe, in Google, and it can show you whichever branch is closest to you, because the Chicago Public Library system is huge. It has 81 locations. That is a very nerdy thing to know, right? Okay, so here is I already saved my username and password. You can also use your library card number as your username. That works brilliantly as well. Okay. Am I logged in? No, it didn't log me in. Okay, now here I am. Here's my dashboard, and that's going to show me everything that I have checked out on hold, my borrowing history. So if, I read this book 3 months ago, what was the title of it? I want to recommend it to someone else. It would be saved in my borrowing history. And remember, no fees. I actually have a lot of library fees, though, and fines in the suburban system. I know that's like the librarian walk of shame, right? Yeesh. Okay. these are some examples I want to share with you about. I know that you guys are studying about power, and so I want to sort of figure out how we can search for books using a keyword search as well as subject searching and what the difference is. So if I click on this icon here, this magnifying glass, it's going to pull up the catalog. And so searching the CPL catalog, you can search by keyword, title, author, if you know it. Remember, a lot of what research is and getting started is just basically, is searching. And so we always want to start off, I always suggest a keyword search and be thinking about your thesis statement and how you can pull some, literally some keywords from there to see if then what happens. And so a keyword search is very, very broad. And that's okay, because what I often tell students is that a keyword search turns into a subject-specific search very, very quickly. I'm going to show you how that happens. So let's say I've been thinking about Ruth Bader Ginsburg because I think that she was sort of told that she was not a powerful person just because she was a woman, and how she, just went ahead and has used her power for the good in spite of all of that. And so let's see, here is, so I did a keyword search of just Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and I'm going to scroll down through my results, right? We have this picture book. A lot of these picture books come up. But when I'm thinking about the difference between primary and secondary sources, and I know this is something Ms. Citron's going to talk with you about, my own words, this is something that, is a primary source because it's written directly by Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and so she is the first person in her story, and so that's a primary search. And so when I click on this book, it shows me where it's available, it's on the shelves at these branches, how many copies are available, and how long is the hold list. I once put a book on hold, and there was like 1,500 people waiting for it. It was pretty daunting yet exciting. Okay, so I want to talk to you about what the library has, which is called a later shelf. And so this is also an invaluable tool to save time while you're researching. And so let's say I want to just sort of save this for later and I might revisit it, so I'm going to put it in the back of my mind. And so this is now on my shelf. I already actually have this book on hold, so I'm going to go ahead and cancel it to show you how to place a hold. Okay. So I'll just click place a hold, and I know you're thinking, where does that hold go and where can I pick it up? And so another thing that I want to show you is about setting the branch location to the one that you want. And so if I go back to my dashboard, so this is where I registered my card, I want to go to my settings. So this is also really, really important. It shows just my profile and a little bit about my information. So account preferences. So I scrolled all the way down, and it says here holds and pickup location. So I actually had my holds at the Rogers Park location, but because I just moved, I was able to change it to the Mayfair branch. I'm also going to, let's see, you can add a third location even. So I have a first location at Mayfair. I'm really close to the Albany Park branch, so that's my second location. Again, this just improves the odds of getting your materials quicker. So where else can I go? I don't know. Jefferson Park, maybe? Yeah, that's not too terribly far. So I'm going to go ahead and save that change. And so again, I got to this page just through account preferences. And so this is also really, really important for saving your holds at the right location. I don't know if if you're downtown, for example, and you want to take the train, you could get to Harold Washington if you're feeling up to it. Uninitiated, I should say. Okay, let's go back to our catalog, and I was able to do that just by, again, clicking on that magnifying glass. So I want to show you how I can get my search to be really specific. So this was that memoir I was telling you about. It shows that I do have it on hold, but it's also on my shelf for later. But if I scroll down to the record, and it says here, whoops, I'm sorry, explore further. here are my subject headings. And so on the right-hand side of the record, what happens with a keyword search is that sometimes, it can give you very erroneous results. And so these are irrelevant results. These are materials I don't really need. And so, I would say don't discount anything in a keyword search, because once you scroll down, that keyword search can become as specific as you want. And so as you can see, all of these, when I move my mouse over them, they are very much enabled. So I can click on them and it would then lead me to a specific search. And so this is what's known in library science, again, super nerdy, as a subject string. And so how information is grouped is usually by groups. So women judges, women lawyers, where they are located, and the genre that they're found. And so let's say I'm interested in not just Ruth Bader Ginsburg, but how other women lawyers, let's say, have used their power for the good. So Michelle Obama, very good. Dissenter on the Bench, we have that book. Okay. The Deafblind Woman Who Conquered Harvard Law, Anita Hill, Speaking Truth to Power. Oh, that looks super interesting. And again, this is something that just typing in Ruth Bader Ginsburg, I would not have thought my search would lead me to Anita Hill. Literally, the title, Speaking Truth to Power. Very, very interesting. So you never know where you're going to end up in a keyword search. It's super, super helpful during the research process, just the initial brainstorming the initial brainstorming phase, just to kind of feel it out and see what happens. Okay, let's explore this record, right? So it shows me where it's available, how many copies they have, how many, so 17, no, none are on hold. These are all the locations I can find this book at. You don't have to necessarily put anything on hold. Let's see, so Rogers Park, if I was still living at my old house, right, I could just maybe walk over and go get it. Let's see what subject-specific strings populate from this search. Oh, interesting. So just Anita Hill herself, right? Women lawyers, sexual harassment of women in the law. And so, yeah, very, very powerful stuff. And that's not something that I would have initially thought about when I was just searching for Ruth. What I love about the CPL catalog is, librarians make a lot of lists, and they have, these lists, these like blog posts, are all put together by both Chicago Public Librarians and other librarians that they team up with. And so feel free to explore other resources that come up just from this search. Very, very, here's some more ideas. And so again, just something to be thinking about. I think it's a very, very powerful place to start, and it really does help propel your research forward by just starting with that keyword search. And so just, try it out and see where you end up. And we can talk about your results, anytime. Great. So in the next tutorial that I'm going to share with you, I'm going to talk to you all about online databases. Unfortunately, Screencastify is about to time out, and so I'm going to start another presentation to talk to you a little bit about the difference between an academic database and a journal article versus a Google website, and how we can access them through CPL. So stay tuned.